Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, you are welcome, and to my returning subscribers, thank you so much. So in this video, we'll be making this high-low circle top with adjuster. So if this is what interests you, please keep on watching and remember to hit on that subscribe button, and let's dive into the video. I'll be making this top with this my Ankara that has refused to finish, so I'll be making it. I have 1.5 yard here, so I'll be making it with this top. I have gone ahead to fold my fabric into 2, and I will also fold it again, making it 4. I am folding my fabric into 4. I folded it 2 the first time, and I folded it again the second time. And with this, I have my front and my back already, and from this sharp edge I'll be taking my measurements. So you go ahead and take your round chest measurement. So I've done mine, and I will divide it into 4, and I have 8.5. On that sharp area, I will place my 8.5 inches like you see me doing, and I'll mark it like so. And this is just the way we normally take our 360-degree flare. So I will place a mark on the both ends, and from the one side of the lines that I marked, I will place my tape like so to know what I have from the marked line to the place that my fabric starts. And I have 5.5 inches, so I will trace my 5.5 inches to meet the other place that I marked my line. So this will help me to be accurate with my measurement, so that one side will not be higher or lower than the other side. So this is what I am just basically doing. So I'll connect my lines like so. I'll go ahead now to measure it again to make sure that my 8.5 inches is intact. After that, I will now take my full length measurements. So from my 8.5 inches, which is now serving as my starting line, I will now take my full length. And for this top, I am making use of 17 inches as my full length measurements. I am now going ahead to mark my 17 inches round. So for this top, the front is higher than the back, so I will be coming up from that our line. I'll be coming up by 2 inches. For the front side, I'll come up by 2 inches, and I'll mark it like so. And this is for the neckline. So from the 2 inches that we marked earlier, which is our front neckline, we'll be going down by 8.5 inches. That same 8.5 inches that we measured out for the chest, we still be going down by the same 8.5 inches. And this is kind of going to serve as our armhole measurement and our neck. I hope I'm not confusing you guys, but from that 2 inches that we marked, for our neckline for the front, we are going to go down by 8.5 inches. And this 8.5 inches now will be serving as our front neckline and our armhole for the front piece. Please just follow what I am doing and you will get it right. At the down area, we'll be coming up for the front side, we'll be coming up by 2 inches. And we are going to also blend it back to meet with the back line, because this top, the front is kind of higher at the center and blended back by the side with the back piece. I hope this is clear enough, but if you don't understand it, just let me know in the comment section and I will explain it better. So I'll go ahead now to cut out the back. I will cut the back first, and later I will trim off the front side. So now for the front, I'll go ahead now to trim it off. I will lift it from the back. Please be careful at this point so that you will not cut the bolts. So I will just lift my front and I will trim it off like so. So this is what my front is looking like. As you can see, at this point, the front and the back are equal. It's just at this front side that I trim off the 2 inches. And this is what my fabric is looking like right now. So I'll go ahead now to separate my fabric into 2 so I can be able to cut out my front neckline. So I have my front and my back separate, and I'll go ahead now to trim off my front side. Please be careful when cutting this so you will not cut the bolt. If you cannot do it like this, please just separate it, cut the back separate, cut the front separate, and after that we can now place the front on the back and trace out your back. So now I'm done cutting my front piece. I'll go ahead now to trace my 8.5 inches. Remember that this 8.5 inches is our chest line. So I'll trace it on my back part and I'll also cut it out like so. This tutorial is a beginner friendly. I am trying out my best to explain it so that we all can understand it. So I'll go ahead now to trace out my line and I'll cut out what I have for my back piece. So as we can see now, the front is 2 inches higher than the back piece at the center front, and we are done cutting it out, and this is what our front piece is looking like, and this is also what our back piece is also looking like. So now I'll go ahead now to cut out my strap, and for my straps I use 2 inches, but this 2 inches is so big for the adjuster that I am working with. So our advice, if you are making use of a smaller adjuster, please make use of 1 inch for your strap, because mine really gave me a very hard time. So after cutting my straps, this is how I'm going to fold it, and this is just the normal way of folding your bias. So after folding it down, I will go ahead now and give it a very nice press. So after pressing it down, this is what I have. I have 2 of these straps, and I'll be using it both for the front and the back. So this is the adjuster that I will be using. I got mine from an old singlet, and like I said earlier, this is very small. The adjuster is so small. So if you are going to make this kind of outfit, I will advise you get a bigger straps, so that a bigger adjuster, so that it will be easier for you to work with. So I'll be working on my front piece first, and on the center of my front piece I will open it a little, just a little, and this will help our straps to lap on each other. And after that I will open up my top like so, and this is what we have. So I'll bring one of the straps and I'll open it up like so, and in between the straps, that is where I'll be placing my front. Like I'll be placing my front in between the straps, and I will sew it down. Just follow what I'm doing and you will get it right. So when I get to this one side of my slit, I'll go ahead to sew on the straps alone, just the straps alone, and I will sew it to the end of the straps, and I'll repeat the same thing on the other side. And when I sew it to the center, the 2 ropes will naturally lap on each other. Let me go ahead and sew it so you guys will understand it better. So I am done sewing it, and as we can see, the 2 ropes, like they are lapping on each other, and this is what I was just trying to explain. So right now I'll be working on my back part, and this back part is already folded in 2. So at this sharp edge I'll be taking 4.5 inches, and this 4.5 inches is the place I will be attaching my sleeve. So I'll go ahead now to mark it and I will give it a notch, and by the time I open it, this is how it will be looking like. So this notch right now will serve as the indication of the place that I will be placing my strap. So this is the adjuster that we'll be using for the back piece, the one in circle form. So I'll go ahead now to reduce my straps, and there is no particular measurement for this strap. If it is too long, I can make use of my adjuster. So I'm going to be using 20 inches for my straps. So you can make use of 18, 19, 20 inches. Anyone is very okay. So I'll be making use of 20 inches for my own top. So right now I'll go ahead to put my folded fabric inside the circle adjuster, and I will cut it out like so, and I'll cut about 2 inches in fold like so. I'll repeat the same on the other ring adjuster. Put my folded fabric inside the ring adjuster and bend it over like this and cut off the excess. So I'm going to place it on my fabric like so, upside down, and I'm going to secure it with a pin. I'll be doing the same thing at the other side. I'll be placing it right side facing right, and I'll also secure it with a pin. I'll also go ahead now to stitch down my fabric, the 1 inch that I cut earlier in form of bias, with my ring adjuster in between the fabric and the bias, and I'll be using it to turn my neckline for the back. So after stitching it down, this is what I have. And with this, I have secured my adjuster. So I'll go ahead now to flip it over and cover my neckline, just like you see me doing. After stitching it down, this is what I have. I have also gone ahead to give it a good press. So for the front piece, I will go ahead now to put my adjuster. So for this adjuster, we have 2 openings, like we have 2 holes for this adjuster. So I'm going to put in my fabric, like I'm going to put in my strap in 1 opening and bring it out from the other opening. Like I mentioned earlier, the 2 inches that I used for this strap, it really was very big for this my strap, and it was very difficult for me to pass it through. So I had to trim it off. I have to trim out the excess so I can be able to freely put in my straps inside this adjuster. So when making yours, make use of 1 inch if you are working with a smaller adjuster. So after I was done cutting out the edge of this my strap, I'll go ahead now to put my adjuster. I will pass my fabric from 1 opening and I'll bring it out from the other opening of my adjuster, and this is what I have. I'll go ahead and repeat the same on the other side. After that, I'll bring my back and my front, and I'll be facing them front facing front. After placing my fabric front side facing front, I will take the strap from the front side and I'll pass it through from the circle adjuster at the back. And for the adjuster at the front, you know that we have 2 openings, so I'll go ahead now to bring out the fabric at the front, like kind of to create space so that I can be able to pass the fabric from the back in between the space. Like I will take the fabric from the back, I will insert it from 1 space and I'll bring it out from the other space. This is kind of tricky, but I just hope you understand what I'm doing. Just follow what I'm doing and you understand what I did. So even after cutting out my straps, it was very hard to enter through that my adjuster. And this is me saying that the adjuster that I used was very small. So if you can find a bigger one, it will be easier for you to work with. So after bringing it out, this is what I have. So I'll go ahead now to stitch it down. So this will help us to secure our adjuster. I have gone ahead now to secure my adjuster, and I also went ahead to stitch down the side and the hemming parts. So with this, we are basically done with this tutorial. So please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to my channel, and let me know what you think about this. And this is the final result. This is how our top is looking like, and I will see you again in my next video. Bye.